December 7, 1941, the Hawaiian sun was just beginning to warm the island of Oahu. A peaceful Sunday morning was about to be broken by the sound of engines. Low across the water, sleek aircraft appeared in the sky, their red sun markings glinting. They flew with a deadly purpose, aiming for the heart of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. In those first shocking moments of the attack on Pearl Harbor, one plane delivered the most devastating blows. It carried the long, heavy torpedoes that sliced through the harbor's calm surface. They found the steel hulls of America's greatest battleships. This aircraft was the Nakajima B5N, the Kate. The Kate was the spearhead of the Japanese assault. Its pilots were the best in the world, trained for years for this exact mission. They flew with incredible skill and courage, navigating the narrow channels of the harbor. They aimed their planes with a precision that was chilling to witness. The torpedoes they carried were specially modified to run in the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor, a technical achievement that caught the American defenders completely by surprise. The explosions that followed were immense. They tore open the sides of ships like the USS Arizona, USS Oklahoma, USS West Virginia. Its role was not just to launch torpedoes. Other Kates flew high above the chaos, configured as level bombers. They carried massive 800-kilogram armor-piercing bombs, converted from battleship shells. One of these bombs is believed to have struck the forward magazine of the USS Arizona. The resulting explosion was catastrophic. The image of the Arizona's shattered skeleton became a lasting symbol of the attack. As the smoke cleared, the battleship era was ending, and the age of the aircraft carrier had begun, with the Kate at its center. Why did Japan create a plane like the Kate? To understand its existence, we must look back to the 1930s. The great naval powers were bound by treaties limiting the number of battleships they could build. In response, the Imperial Japanese Navy focused intensely on a different kind of power: naval aviation. They believed that carrier-based aircraft could act as a great equalizer, allowing them to project force far across the vast Pacific Ocean. They needed a bomber that could fly farther. They needed a bomber that could fly faster. They needed a bomber that could carry a more powerful weapon than any competitor. The old fabric-covered biplanes were no longer enough for their ambitious plans. They needed something modern, something revolutionary. In 1935, the Navy issued a challenging specification for a new carrier-based attack bomber. They asked for a plane that could carry a full-sized aerial torpedo, reach speeds of over 200 miles per hour, and have long endurance. The aircraft manufacturer Nakajima took on this challenge. Their design team, led by Katsuji Nakamura, created a machine that was years ahead of its time. It was an all-metal design. It was a low-wing layout. It was a single-engine monoplane. The single clean wing reduced drag and allowed for much higher speeds. Older planes had fixed wheels, creating constant drag. The Kate featured retractable landing gear. Wheels up, it became far more streamlined and aerodynamic. Combined with a powerful radial engine, it met the Navy's speed and range demands. It also had hydraulically folding wings for compact carrier storage. Every detail was designed for performance and naval efficiency. The result was the B5N, which first flew in January 1937. The initial B5N-1 quickly proved its potential. Nakajima went back to work and developed the B5N-2, the definitive model. The attack on Pearl Harbor was just the beginning of the Kate's reign of terror. In the months that followed, the Nakajima B5N led Japan's stunning string of victories across the Pacific and Indian Oceans. The 6 aircraft carriers that had struck Hawaii, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, Shokaku, Zuikaku, formed the most powerful naval strike force on the planet, with the Kate as primary long-range weapon. Wherever the Kido Butai went, destruction followed. The Kate sank ship after ship with ruthless efficiency. After Pearl Harbor, Japanese forces swept south. Kates provided air support for the invasions of the Philippines and the Dutch East Indies. In February 1942, they struck the port of Darwin in northern Australia. The attack was a complete surprise, much like Pearl Harbor. Kates, escorted by Zeros, swooped in and devastated the harbor, sinking ships including an American destroyer and destroying facilities on shore. The raid showcased the incredible reach of Japan's carrier fleet and the continued effectiveness of the Kate as a strike aircraft. In April 1942, the Kido Butai challenged the British Eastern Fleet. Near Ceylon, scouts found the heavy cruisers HMS Cornwall and HMS Dorsetshire. Dive bombers hit first. Then came the Kates in classic torpedo formations. Their torpedoes sealed the fate of the cruisers. Days later, they found the carrier mains HMS Hermes. Danens, Sensen and Nandel, Armen Sansender to the bottom. During this period, the Kates seemed unstoppable. Nani stopped himself Danabo. No other torpedo bomber could match its record. By May 1942, the Japanese war machine seemed invincible. Their next objective was to capture Port Moresby in New Guinea. Shokaku and Zuikaku sailed with squadrons of Kate bombers. However, the United States had a secret weapon, codebreakers. American intelligence knew they were coming, and carriers moved to intercept. The world's first battle fought entirely between aircraft carriers. Both sides launched full-scale strikes. Kates found USS Neosho and USS Sims, and attacked with ferocity. The Sims sank quickly. Neosho was left a burning wreck. On May 8, Kates pressed into storms of flak and American Wildcats. They scored a torpedo hit on Yorktown, and 2 on the larger Lexington. Fires raged into massive explosions that doomed the ship, but the cost was terrible. Many of Japan's best Kate crews were lost. Shokaku was heavily damaged and had to withdraw. Japan sank more tonnage, but the invasion of Port Moresby was called off. 1 month later, Admiral Yamamoto set a trap at Midway. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, confident of victory. Kates configured as level bombers struck Midway Island. Then came shocking news. American carriers were close. Kates had to be rearmed with torpedoes in a frantic, dangerous scramble. Fuel hoses, armed munitions, and parked aircraft made the carriers incredibly vulnerable. While Zeros chased torpedo planes at low altitude, SBD Dauntless bombers had a clear run. They plunged down almost unopposed. In 5 minutes, bombs slammed into Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, turning them into raging infernos. The heart of the Kido Butai was ripped out. Hiryu launched a desperate counterattack. Led by Lieutenant Joichi Tominaga, Kate crews pressed on through a wall of fire. Against all odds, they put 2 torpedoes into Yorktown. Later, American planes found and sank Hiryu as well. Midway was a catastrophic defeat. The Battle of Midway was a wound from which the Kate squadrons would never recover. The loss of hundreds of veteran air crews was even worse than the loss of carriers. Replacements were hastily trained and lacked the skill and experience of the fallen. The Kate itself was becoming obsolete. By 1943, new Allied fighters like the F-6F Hellcat were faster, tougher, and more heavily armed. Against these, the slow and poorly defended Kate was a sitting duck. With no armor and non-self-sealing tanks, a short burst could be fatal. The B5N Jill, intended as a replacement, arrived too late and in too few numbers. Kates shifted to secondary roles: anti-submarine patrol, reconnaissance, and training, often flying at night to survive. In the final year, some were used as kamikaze, a tragic end for a once great aircraft. Today, the Kate exists as a powerful symbol. It represents both Japan's stunning initial success and the reasons for ultimate defeat. Its sleek lines reveal 1930s innovation and ambition. Its devastating attacks reflect rigorous training and tactical planning. The Kate embodied a naval strategy that briefly dominated a vast ocean. In 1941, it was the best in the world. By 1943, a death trap. Very few survived. One B5N2, recovered from the Kurils, is on display at the Wings Museum in the UK. Seeing the metal, the cockpit, and the torpedo bay connects us directly to history. For historians and model builders, the Kate remains intensely fascinating. Each model tells a story of design, conflict, and human drama. Its echo remains darin during awi during the concert, darin during and then during For the Pearl Harbor Memorial, in the histories of Midway, and in quiet museum displays, the Kate was a killer, a revolutionary technology, and a fragile machine flown by brave men. The Nakajima B5N was the embodiment of Japan's audacious opening strategy: precision, range, and devastating effect. It delivered the infamous first blow at Pearl Harbor and reigned for 6 months, but Midway sealed its fate. From triumph to defeat, the Kate's story mirrors the rise and fall of the IJN Air Arm. If you want to see us build this history in scale form, or explore more legendary aircraft of WW2, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Tell us in the comments, which carrier aircraft of the Pacific War do you think was the most effective?